Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap. In one term, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who have served 2 terms in office.
Tonight, the spotlight shining on Vice President Kamala Harris following President Biden's endorsement.
It came after President Biden announced that he was dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. Today, in her first public remarks, Harris had nothing but praise for the commander-in-chief.
Meanwhile, reaction from both sides of the aisle pouring in, with many top Democrats also endorsing Harris for president.
NBC6 reporter Steve Litz joins us live in studio with the latest on Decision 2024. Steve.
And hi, Juwan. Hi, Jackie. Florida Democrats, they are eager to turn the page on this one. President Biden, along with several top Democrats, have publicly thrown their support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. She raised nearly $50 million in the hours after Mr. Biden's exit.
Family.
Vice President Kamala Harris's first words as the Democratic presidential frontrunner directed right at her boss.
And I am firsthand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
It's been a whirlwind 24 hours in Democratic Party politics, and so far every Democrat who has publicly spoken backs Mrs. Harris.
Vice President Harris has visited Florida more than 10 times.
Florida Democrats with a virtual news conference today pledging their support for the vice president.
I'm actually very excited to have President Harris or Vice President Harris at the top of the ticket, because I think that energizes the electorate in a different way.
In the race for president, we are running a former prosecutor against a convicted felon. No one is better prepared than Vice President Harris to prosecute the case against Donald Trump.
Republicans sharp with their words for President Biden, now shifting to Vice President Harris.
And the Democrats timed this announcement to try to counteract any bounce that comes out of the convention, and to hope that the media spends the next month singing the hosannas of Kamala Harris and whatever very boring white guy she picks as her VP.
Mrs. Harris, with ties to the Caribbean, her father being from Jamaica, Jamaican-born attorney Marlon Hill, and others with Caribbean roots, now with a heightened interest in presidential politics.
Being able to have an opportunity to be a nominee of a major political party and potentially to be the president of the United States, that has to say something special and unique, to those people that are a large part of South Florida.
And it is important to note right now, Vice President Harris is not the Democratic presidential nominee yet. Democratic Party officials are still working with delegates on shifting their support, their votes from President Biden to Vice President Harris. And then there's that roll call that's expected to happen virtually before the Democratic National Convention happens in Chicago next month. Jackie, Juwan, back over to you guys.